Hello everyone, welcome to Healing Journeys. My name is Christelle Ahia. On this channel, I share knowledge and content related to indigenous knowledge systems, more specifically those of Africa and the diaspora. And today it's going to be our topic, yes, African knowledge systems. Actually, I've already shared some information about that in the previous videos. I would say today I would like to wrap it up. What do we understand when we say African knowledge systems, or at least from my perspective, right? And also how you can access it even when you, let's say, you don't have direct access to anyone who can provide you with this type of knowledge, or even any kind of resources, or if you are not sure whether you can access them, um, how you can do that on a very practical level. Um, yeah, we highlight African knowledge systems and even more generally indigenous knowledge systems. I would say um, in parallel, not in opposition to, but in parallel to what is considered as often um, Western knowledge systems. Um, to say it maybe in a basic way, to what is called the global knowledge systems, or the dominant knowledge narrative. I'm sure you have already noticed it or heard about it. Um, we often see, and it is often projected, one way of perceiving the world, one way of dealing with knowledge, either in educational systems or even in various areas. Right now, I'm thinking of medicine, for instance, something that I often talk about on this channel, but also sciences in general, right? When we consider, when it is talked about sciences, even if they are um, the word is used in a plural form, it is often looked at sciences from Western perspectives, like um, the, the way the theories are discussed, the way the research are made, the way the results are communicated, the naming, even the um, like all these things are um, from Western perspectives, using most of the time, not to say all of the time, Western based languages, right? Either Latin or Greek for the, let's say, the scientific names, right? Uh, all of this, I think it is important to understand that it um, covers only part of the reality, and only parts of what sciences are. They are different perspectives of the world, different ways to live in this world, to live on this planet, and therefore there are also different perspectives, different approaches to sciences, to how people perceive their surrounding, their environment, how um, research are made, how results are communicated, what is considered, even something very important in that regard, what is considered sciences and what is considered, let's say, spiritual beliefs, or even mysticism, or superstitions, or art, right? All of that, uh, you can look at them from various perspectives. And when we look at them from African perspectives, and not only African, even in other indigenous knowledge systems, you will find that there are no distinction or clear separation as it could be in Western system when you consider, for instance, spirituality and sciences. Spirituality, spiritual practices in African knowledge system and in other indigenous knowledge systems are considered, like spiritual practices are considered um, part of sciences research or sciences practices. this is something very important to consider, meaning that um, even the spiritual experiences, the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual journeys, the spiritual, how can I say, uh, yeah, journey of someone basically, um, is considered as important as other um, scientific experiences, other scientific researches, other scientific activities. This is one example, but I think it's a major one, and that's why I'm like try to go a bit longer on that, because um, in Western perspective, from Western perspective, these two are often opposed: spiritual beliefs and sciences. What is presented as sciences is presented, at least to the, let's say, to the general audience, is presented as something solid, something valid, something that no one can discuss, and something that is supposed to be, let's say, taken that way. Um, Whereas when you going to speak of spiritual systems, spiritual experiences, spiritual research, spiritual knowledge, then all of a sudden, uh, well, it's not that serious. You can see like doubts, questionings, and so on, right? Um, and this is very important when we want to embrace African knowledge perspective, African knowledge systems, and African spirituality, or African spiritual practices. These practices, our spiritual practices, our knowledge, hasn't been created in the framework of Western knowledge systems. This is something to always keep in mind. Even when we learn, when we question, when we, for instance, may not understand something, or I don't know, even when we try to do something, just to keep in mind, oh, here it is not the same framework as I'm used to, or it is not the same framework as I have learned at school or wherever you learn it. This is something to have in mind, that um, African ways of perceiving the world, of being to the world, of being with each other, haven't been um, designed to, how can I say, um, to navigate in Western frameworks, Western perspectives, Western knowledge systems. It doesn't mean that uh, one is good, one is better, one is the worst, and so on. It's not about that. It's just about having in mind that we're talking about different ways of being to the world, different ways of interacting, different ways of perceiving the world. And this is very important. And especially, sorry, I'm like having like hands fatigue, so I need to switch my hands. I'm holding my phone. Um, yeah, it is something very important to have in mind, um, especially when we want to discuss or to research on um, ancient African practices, right? This is something very important. And to maybe make a junction with the second part of this video is then how you can access it. Consider that there are no, like, let's say, strict separation, strict distinction as we could see in Western knowledge systems. I think this is very one thing to comprehend, meaning, um, for instance, as you're looking at this video, uh, it's not only about you looking at a video, it's also about you engaging in a learning practice, right? So you engage your all level of your beings, not only physical but also energetical, spiritual, psychological, physical, and so on. And it is the same when you want to integrate any kind of African knowledge practices. Consider that uh, it is important not to create separation between the topics. For instance, if you are interested in what is called nature, there is no separation between what is called nature and us. We are part of nature as much as our friend that you can see behind. Well, this is only the introduction for this topic, and I will do another video very soon. For now on, that's it. Let's take care of ourselves and of each other. See you soon. Bye.